Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger. Janelle's off tonight. Day 28 of the partial government shutdown coming to a close. And President Trump is promising what he says will be a major announcement tomorrow afternoon about the southern border and the government shutdown. It's been a 4-week-long stalemate on Capitol Hill. That's where we find CBS's Nicole Killian with the latest.
President Trump will address the nation Saturday. According to a senior administration official, he'll present a deal to end the partial government shutdown.
I'm not going to get ahead of the president, but I can assure you that he's going to continue fighting for border security. He's going to continue looking for the solution.
The two sides dug in this week. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi accused President Trump of irresponsible behavior when he publicly announced in a letter that her trip to visit U.S. troops in Afghanistan was postponed.
You never give advance notice of going into a battle area. You just never do.
The Office of Management and Budget released a memo saying in light of the shutdown, no government aircraft can be used for congressional delegations without written permission from the White House Chief of Staff. The president and Pelosi are at odds over billions of dollars in funding to build a wall on the southern border. Senate Democrats say they want to negotiate when the president reopens the government.
Open the government. We will figure out a way to get more border security. Do not hold this community and our country hostage.
Thousands of furloughed federal workers are caught in the middle of this political firestorm.
This is not what I bargained for when I got into government service.
John, a government contractor, says he was already living paycheck to paycheck, and he's thankful for the lifeline that a food bank is giving him and so many others in Virginia. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
There's been a lot of discussion about whether the president will declare a national emergency in order to go around Congress and build the wall, but CBS is reporting that according to a senior administration official, that won't be part of tomorrow's speech. The 46th annual March for Life made its way to the Supreme Court steps in Washington, D.C. today. That pro-life event featured a rally of notable speakers and a march from the National Mall to the Supreme Court. Among those speakers was Montana U.S. Senator Steve Daines, who also made a big announcement. Q2's Zoe Zandor is here to tell us more.
Thanks, Russ. The annual March for Life was held on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. today. Activists waved flags and chanted anti-abortion slogans as they marched in the largest annual gathering in the U.S. of opponents of the Supreme Court's 1973 ruling in Roe v. Wade. An announcement from Senator Steve Daines was made at the March for Life rally, and Daines spoke for about 5 minutes, and during his speech, he announced that he is forming the first ever pro-life caucus in the U.S. Senate.
Life begins at conception. And because of that, every life must be valued. This pro-life caucus and our new expanded pro-life majority, thank God in November we sent more pro-life senators to the United States Senate. Under President Trump's leadership and your Republican-led United States Senate, we have delivered the strongest pro-life results in history.
Now, I also spoke with Laura Terry, the VP of External Affairs for Planned Parenthood, who spoke on behalf of Planned Parenthood in regards to Daines' announcement today. She said that unfortunately, Senator Daines is out of touch with the majority of Americans who support maintaining and expanding access to sexual and reproductive health care, including safe, legal abortion. Russ?
All right, thank you, Zoe. Well, Billings will have its 12th annual pro-life march. That'll be Sunday at 2 in the afternoon. It'll start at St. Patrick's Cathedral, then continue for 4 blocks to the courthouse lawn. There was also a march in Washington to support Indigenous peoples, members of tribes from across the country and beyond, all joining together early this morning at the Building of Interior Affairs. From there, that group marched to the Lincoln Memorial for an 8-hour rally. In the march, advocates held signs declaring why they march, and for many, it was the missing, murdered Indigenous women and girls crisis going on in their respective communities. Indigenous People Movement website says the march is also to raise awareness of injustices being inflicted on their communities, including voter suppression, human trafficking, and genocide. Members of tribes from Montana were also present, including the Crow and Northern Cheyenne tribes. Well, educators and advocates gathered in the Capitol Rotunda today to raise awareness about Indian education for all. Booths were set up showcasing best practices and success stories in Indian education from across the state. Superintendent of Public Instruction Elsie Arnzen said the goal of today's event is to raise awareness with legislators and others on the role and necessity of Indian education for all. Arnzen also noted the current disparity between the high school graduation rates of tribal schools and the rest of Montana's schools. A 13-year-old arrested today for arson and criminal endangerment charges in Laurel. That string of crimes started with an unreported fire attempt at the Laurel Walmart. Then about 2 hours later, police say that teen moved to the post office. The attempted fire at Walmart wasn't even known about until post office employees just happened to talk to employees at the Walmart. A post office employee went to that store to purchase particulate masks. And when they explained the reason for needing the mask, the Walmart employee explained that a similar event had happened there just 2 hours before. Laurel Chief of Police Stanley Langvey said that while it's too early to say how the case will be prosecuted, the juvenile justice system has some leeway in addressing serious charges like arson.
The juvenile justice system is structured differently and more broadly, that it can approach kind of the totality of the circumstance, and it truly looks at identifying what the core issues behind the behavior and get an individual, especially a child, more the help they need to prevent recidivism.
Well, even though the post office is a federal organization, Chief Langvey says that given the age of the individual, early indications are that the prosecution will be handled locally. All right, we want to turn our attention to the weather now. And Bob, our snow from last night seems to have moved up to the East Coast and is picking up some steam as it heads that way.
It certainly is. We're going to show it to you on Doppler radar. We're going to go back about 18 hours. Here we are in Montana, and this is the way it looked this morning as that whole storm started making its way into the Billings area and across much of south central and eastern Montana. You'll notice it continues to push its way out of the state. Where did it all go? Well, it went all the way over here where you can see we've got a lot of snow moving in towards the Midwest. Also a low pressure cell over Kansas City is grabbing moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. That's adding to the cold air and the moisture moving into the region. That's creating some very heavy snow. In fact, take a look at this. We have a winter storm warning basically from Iowa through Chicago all the way to Maine. Snowfall amounts, I've been looking at them. They're expected to get anywhere from 1 to 2 feet. In New England, Chicago, probably see 4 to 6 inches of snow there. It's a big, massive storm, and this is one that we just barely missed. We'll have the rest of your weekend forecast in a few minutes. Russ?
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. Montana's #1 industry receiving some recognition tonight in Billings. The Billings Chamber of Commerce hosting the 22nd annual Egg Appreciation Celebration. About 800 people came out for the event, which started back in 1997. Leroy Gable of Huntley received the Egg Excellence Award for his many years as a sugar beet farmer. Montana State University President Dr. Waded Cruzado gave the keynote speech.
This is our sense of pride, that we serve agriculture, the #1 industry in Montana. And we do that in a very special manner. We teach, we do research, and we do extension with excellence every day of the year.
Dr. Cruzado talked about some of the accomplishments at the university, including raising more than $413 million in a campaign that started in 2010. There are some new digs for Trailhead Spirits, and it's all because the business was running out of room for their distillery operations. Owner Casey McGowan says they moved into their new property on Gable Road on Black Friday, and he says the response has been good. But McGowan also says that move has been a bit bittersweet because the former downtown location near the Billings Depot on Montana Avenue felt like a part of the community. Inside the new facility, it's clean and there's modern look there with new tables, a new bar, and much more room for their distilling operations. McGowan says more room is needed as they grow.
Kind of work through the next 2 or 3 years to make it work, and it was just one of those decisions that when it was time to move on and get more space, and timing just worked out right with the lease coming up and the opportunity to come to this space, and kind of all funneled towards making the move.
As for what goes into the former Trailhead location next to the old Billings Depot there, McGowan says there will be a local only beer and wine bar that should be opening very soon. Coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, sometimes the best part about an adventure is not knowing what comes next. We'll check in with a Billings family, tacking on some more miles to their story. Later in sports, Scott delivers your dose of Friday night basketball action. We'll tell you about some games that went down to the wire.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.